Hello and welcome to the Sunday Jabberwocky. That's right, we did have a Jabberwocky last Sunday, didn't we? It was like 25 minutes or something. That was when Alice was at the river, right?
Well, she's pretty much still there. I don't know where
Yeah,
she's at now, but
yeah, she's still there, implying that she never left last weekend. She's homeless. No, Alice has a home to go to. But yeah, this
I
is
don't
a
know.
Sunday Jabberwocky, our shoot the shit, whatever, show. I don't really have an intro. It's still heavily in the works. Anyway, I am of course Ali Aozander. I am joined by
I am
Ghost
also
Fighters.
Scott. Oh, sorry. Wow. I'm Scott.
and
Ghost. Yeah, he's Ghost.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's Ghost. Yeah, you both introduce yourselves at the same time. So, Ghost, you
Right.
want to introduce yourself again?
Ghost Fighters, Mikey.
Yep. All right. Anyway, Mr. Scott, since last Jabberwocky, which I recently remembered actually existed, so it's been about 7 days. Anything interesting happened to you in the past week? Any events you caught on the news? Any current events, geopolitical, socioeconomic, anything involving China or whatever? Like anything in your mind the past week? Go.
Well,
You know.
the only thing I can say is there's some fires going on in California, like specifically weed, California. There's some wildfires. That's what I have on my mind.
Which,
Other
by the
than
way, sorry to interrupt, but for those who do not know, weed is actually a city. So, are you talking about like fires in weed fields, or are you talking about the city?
The city, yeah.
Okay, yeah, there is a city called Weed in California, believe it or not.
So yeah, they're dealing with that, I guess, up in the California area. Other th- other than that, for political wise, I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff we can talk about, but it all depends on what you guys want to, think about and gravitate towards. But I don't know. There's a lot of drought going on. There's, some weather stuff. Like I mentioned the California fires, but, I don't know. It's like whatever you guys want to start with.
Well, anything of interest to you, it's not just what we all appreciate. Like anything, what interests you. I remember earlier this week we were talking about chemistry and all that stuff. I've been talking to you about what my family does, business in electroplating and whatnot, and
Yeah.
we got to have a little discussion about how we're even going to make that show, or is that going to just be every now and then in the Jabberwocky, is there even enough to make a show? Because I would love to make a show about chemistry. It is interesting.
Well, I'm sure we could.
Yeah.
Because it's an everyday business. Like that's not going anywhere. Chemistry is very interesting. Like we talked about your dad's business and all that and what you do, and I don't know. It's tough to say because we got the prices of what metals are and whatever this and that is, but you make your business on electroplating, like jewelry and other stuff. So I guess it's a business.
A plethora of things I have seen in that building.
Yeah.
From roses, like actual, people took the flowers, the rose, dipped it in some kind of metal. It retained its shape and everything. We plated roses. We plated badges, for firefighters, for police. We plated the badges of the Secret Service officers who were present at Barack Obama's first inauguration as president. So the first time, back before we knew who he truly was. So I wore that as a badge of honor for a while. We've done guns, we've done blank poker chips, pre-stamped, you name it, short of it being made of aluminum or any non-magnetic or we have a couple problems with certain metals, but other than that, we've done everything you can imagine, as well as costume jewelry, rings, earrings, necklaces, chain by the foot, this was plated, there, so yeah.
Yeah, so that's always needed. Like anybody who wants something in the jewelry aspect or the badge aspect, or whatever field it is. And I feel like it's pretty fascinating the process how you do it, and the chemicals you use to actually plate the objects you're doing, and like it's pretty cool for me. So you know, it's a very lucrative business in my opinion. So you got anything basically, anything to protect something from being worn out. You played it, you got it down. So
Yeah. By the way, Ghost, you're free to interject whenever you want. Don't wait until you get picked. Because just step in there. If you have something to say, just say it. Like, don't worry about talking over people in this show.
No worries.
Yeah.
I'm just listening. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I don't really know much about. I'm just listening to your guys' conversation. I don't really have much to interject with. I don't know much about it. I'm just listening.
Yeah, we'll get to you here in a minute. It's just like it's just like now all this stuff is rushing in my head. Like no, like this is how we survived the lockdown. Because we were an essential business. Because if we weren't going to plate the new police officer badges, new EMT badges, like who will? Because especially out here in California, a mildly heavy industry like electroplating, just is like it's astounding that we're still here to this day, and that's because of my mom's foresight 10 years before the EPA went nuts with all this environmentalism crap. Like as my dad says, and I wish he was here, but his saying goes, you can drink the water, but you can't flush it. Literally, the water going out of that building is cleaner than the city water coming in. And we actually have to purify that water before we even use it. So we have to purify our own supply of water before we use it, and then we purify it again. Obviously, now we've used it, so that's understandable. But like the city standards dictates that the water we dump is higher than the standards that the water they supply us with. Isn't that nuts?
It is.
Yeah.
That's wild. But like I said, that's brand new knowledge for me.
All right, so next subject, I would say from 1 hour ago I got this. It says suspect charged in abduction of missing Memphis jogger. So I don't know. That's the most recent thing I can see that we can maybe talk about.
Can you DM me that link because I can bring it up here on the stream?
Yes. Gotcha. So we can probably definitely talk about that.
I would like to, because I too have a news story that was kind of wild in its own respects. Let's see here. So let's watch this. It's ABC News.
Yeah, I mean that was the closest thing I can pull up for something interesting that happened recently. So.
Okay. Do you want to watch my stream? Because I have it up on the stream here on Discord. If we want to, it's a minute 51 seconds long. Once again, this is from the ABC News YouTube channel, giving credit where credit is due, so they can't sue us. So
right.
Scott's watching. Mr. Ghost, would you like to join the stream as well, so you can watch what we're watching?
Yeah, go for it.
No, you got to do it on your end.
Oh. Done.
I don't see you in yet. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Yep, there he is.
I am gonna play this.
Memphis police announcing they have made an arrest in the case of missing Memphis schoolteacher Eliza Fletcher.
Hospital abduction earlier today for Miss Liz Fletcher.
38-year-old Cleotha Abston has been charged with especially aggravated kidnapping and tampering with evidence. The 34-year-old kindergarten teacher was reported missing by her husband hours after she did not return from an early morning jog Friday.
It's now been a number of hours since they detained an individual that was in the car allegedly used in this abduction. I have real concerns about her well-being because it's just been too long.
Abston's arrest coming a day after investigators revealed they had located a vehicle of interest in Fletcher's abduction. Police say a person in a black GMC Terrain SUV approached her around 4:30 a.m. while she was jogging near the University of Memphis and forced her into the passenger side of the vehicle. Authorities saying they found her water bottle and cell phone near where she was reportedly abducted. ABC affiliate WATN confirming the married mother of two is the granddaughter of a prominent businessman and philanthropist. Her family pleaded for the public's help.
More than anything, we want to see Liza returned home safely. The family has offered a reward for any information
9 times
that
out of
leads to her
10,
safe
no,
return.
though.
Saturday evening, her church held a vigil.
We're deeply pained and sorrowed by what's going on, and we're praying for her safe return.
Police say they have arrested a second person, an apparent relative of Abston, who is now facing gun and drug charges. But authorities do not believe he is connected to Fletcher's abduction. Mola Legge, ABC News, Memphis.
Okay, I have something to say about that. You know, for as awful as that situation is, you know, it's happened so many times throughout history. You know, okay, so you have this attractive, you know, young female in jogging clothes going out before dawn. What the fuck does she think is going to happen? Especially if she's related to something, you know, like a business magnate or something. Like, she's a target. Like, I'm sorry, that's stupid. That was a stupid thing, you know, like, you
Completely understand. In a perfect world, she should be able to. But we do not live in a perfect world.
Absolutely
you know?
not.
It is bad. It's I don't, you know, I hate speaking ill of the dead, you know, but that is poor decision making.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you
know,
I mean, like, how many times has this happened? Like, have we not learned?
I don't say too much about it because she's not alive, and that sucks. She didn't deserve to die. That guy doesn't deserve to do that.
I don't know. I don't think she's dead yet. Like, you know, if you know, now that
well, statistically.
Well, see, here's the thing. This is like, we got to take a different approach to statistics, because she's not an average everyday person. Remember, she's a granddaughter of someone, so there is a possibility this could be a this could ransom. Be like, you know, a ransom, like, you know, a planned thing. This might not be just a basic snatch and grab, you know.
You're right. You're right.
So,
I didn't think about that. When they did say prominent, when they said that, I didn't put two and two together there.
Yeah. But yeah, like, let's just hope that's the case. You know, it's still a shitty situation, and at the end of the day, it's completely her fault. I mean, who the fuck goes out and jogs? You know, an attractive lady wearing skimpy clothing like that at 4:30 in the morning? You know, like, just wear a sign saying, "Kidnap me, please," you know? Like, at that point.
It's like, not the best decision.
No.
But
especially after this has happened so many times, it's just, you know, I don't want to speak ill of the potentially dead or anything, but that was just stupid, you know.
Yeah.
But I hope that she's still okay.
It's good. It's good that they recognize her and that they have people trying to, you know, find her and care about her. Like, that's a lucky aspect about
Dad's got some, like, fucking high-profile PIs out there.
Yeah.
What was your news article, Xander?
Oh yeah, I posted because I saw this on my meme source, Meme Droid. Oh, fucking, hold on a second. Okay, I guess no, not memes. I posted it in the news. Dangerous situation. Authorities have evacuated the area. Pilot threatens to crash plane in a Mississippi Walmart.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and I actually I have it up here. Let me bring up my other tab here. I have it on a search here, and the first thing is from CNN, but it says here, pilot arrested after threatening to crash plane in the Mississippi River. A worker at an airport who stole a twin-engine plane Saturday morning and threatened to crash it into a Mississippi Walmart was arrested. And
well, that's some terrorist stuff.
yeah, this was 17 hours ago, 22 hours ago, 1 day ago.
Or you really don't like Walmart.
Well,
yeah.
I don't like Walmart, but I'm not going to crash a plane into it. So
no.
You know, that's just insane. But yeah, like that caught my eye. I'm just, wow. So yeah, thoughts, you know, on that?
Well,
some
people
suck.
Yeah, some people do suck. Mr. Ghost, your turn finally. Sorry for taking so long. Like, anything?
It's all good.
Anything cool happened to you personally this past week? You know, anything of?
Well, not cool, but I did actually speak with Scott on DM the other day about it. You know, living in Brevard County, I literally lived on the Cocoa Beach, Cape Canaveral border, like on either side, like the whole 15 years. You know what I mean?
I'm going to interrupt real
I've
quick
always,
and remind people not to release any current personal information as well as whereabouts, just for your
well,
safety.
I don't live that over
I know.
there
I just so that way, just keep that in mind, just for your
Yeah.
safety, guys.
Well, I'm real into the space program, and the Artemis. I was telling him they were about to launch it the other day, and right after I DM'd him, they scrubbed the launch again. Better safe than sorry, you know. But I literally have seen the last night launch, the last day launch of the space shuttle, the last reentry of astronauts into Cape Canaveral. I mean, I've literally experienced it all. The one thing I have not experienced is a man on the moon. So I am so excited about Artemis. It's looking like it's going to be late September now.
He told me that.
I am so excited about the Artemis. And now this is just a trial run. There's not going to be humans
hold
on
on
this
a second.
one.
You cut out. Your audio just cut out. Test. Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
What were you saying about 10 seconds ago?
The Artemis, this one is just a trial run. It's not going to be humans on it, but we're gonna put it on the moon. And if it's successful, the next one that should be, I think, 2026, they said, we're going to put men on the moon. And it's the one thing that literally I have not experienced. I mean, I've been through all the SpaceX launches. I've been, like I said, I've been through, I mean, God, those night launches, they're just something, they're just a thing of beauty. I mean, the way the sky lights up, you know, I just have not experienced a man on the moon, and I am just so looking forward to Artemis. And I was really bummed the other day when it got scrubbed, because I was like I don't know, just super stoked. But it's okay, better safe than sorry. I'd rather this be a perfect event than disaster, you know.
Yes.
Because then they're not going to put men on the moon. It's going to send it to 2036 if it went bad, you know. So, but that's my week. I was really looking forward to that. But like I said, safe than sorry. But yeah, Scott, remember I was talking to you about it the other day.
Yes, you definitely
They scrubbed it right after I was talking to you.
Yeah, and I was excited for any opportunity to go back to the moon or something like that. That was pretty cool to me.
Not to derail the subject, because I would like to come back to this, but like this reminds me, Ghost, you were saying earlier, you used to have a tradition that inevitably caused your team to fail during the Super Bowl or playoffs or whatever.
The Tampa Bay Rays, the two times they were in the World Series, because that's in October, we did Tampa Bay Ray Pumpkins, and they lost the World Series horribly.
You're putting a kibosh on that, huh?
Yeah, we're probably not going to do that. They're probably not going to go to the World Series this year, anyways.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like at the bottom, like scratching to get to the playoffs. So
dang. But yeah, going back to the space stuff, dude. Like, my mom was like way into space. Like, I actually have a recording, and if it's all right with you, I think it would probably be a great honor to her if I play it during this show, because I've been meaning to put it up on YouTube by itself, and I just I have no excuse.
Absolutely, man.
But
yeah, that was my week though. I was looking forward to that, you know, and it got scrubbed.
Yeah, that sucks.
But that doesn't bother me. No,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I grew up. I witnessed the Challenger explode.
Yeah.
That's because they were under so much pressure. They knew to scrub that, and they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And it killed a bunch of great astronauts, including a teacher, Kristen McCullough, and it also stopped, literally, civilian space travel. That is the reason that you do not. I mean, you're seeing it now, Richard Branson with these billionaires, but NASA will never do civilian space travel because of that event.
Yeah. Well,
so, like I said, I've been part of so much. I would love to see a man on the moon.
Yeah. Didn't the Columbia blow up on reentry?
I was actually in school in Dallas when it happened. My mom, God rest her soul, she called me and goes, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Mom, yeah, I'm fine." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But dude, there was like FBI trucks everywhere, and there were signs. I swear, every 500 yards it said, "If you keep a piece of this, it's 5 years in jail, $500,000 fine." Because there was parts of it all over Dallas.
Oh man.
I was actually there.
Oh wow.
Because I was in school. I was in college at the time in Dallas.
Jesus, dude. So you heard the?
Yeah.
Did you hear the explosion?
Of it? No,
Okay.
no. I just all of a sudden turn on the news, and then I get a call from my mom.
Yeah.
She's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Mom, I'm fine." It was adorable. So
Yeah.
God bless her. She's just being a mom.
But yeah, like my mom, she was biologically she was my grandmother. She's my birth mom's mom, but she raised me, and there's a whole story behind all that. She raised me from pretty much like infancy, and on and all that whatnot, and but she was fascinated by space. Like she was born in 1941, yeah, and so she was around and she saw the whole Sputnik thing, you know, like she saw the mushroom clouds. Like she didn't, to my knowledge, and I obviously can't ask her anymore, but I'm not sure. I think she did. I'm not sure, but she most likely did not go out to the civilian viewing areas of the nuclear bombs being detonated out into the Nevada test site, but she has seen the mushroom clouds from a distance,
Wow.
and
Oof.
then
Oof.
she's then she's she witnessed Apollo 1, and all of that disaster and everything. She witnessed Yuri Gagarin, first man in the moon, not moon, but first man in space. She witnessed first woman in space, first animal in space, Sputnik. She witnessed she's following everything, every step of the way, following everything. You can't find a person ever who is more into space than people who are actually putting people into space.
I would have loved to have heard her stories, man. I'm telling you, I'd have sat there and listened like a little kid. I'd been like this, you know what I mean? Seriously, my dad's a science teacher, and of course, we just always talked about space, and I love Neil deGrasse Tyson. I mean, I'm just, and just being around Cape Canaveral, being around NASA, it's just a great thing.
Yeah.
Plus, it's cool as shit. It's fucking outer space, man.
Hell yeah.
It's fucking cool.
Trying to find the thing here. Can't seem to find
yeah, Artemis, I'm super excited. I really, really am.
Yeah, so am I. I did not know. I haven't, honestly, shame on me. I'm not as into it as I used to be, but I'm just, everything's overwhelming nowadays. But anyway,
I'll keep you in the loop. I'll keep you in the loop.
Yeah, thank you. Please do.
Oh, dude, I'm on it.
Awesome. Maybe Mom sent you to me for for this reason. I don't know. But no, no,
Right.
she saw the moon landing and everything, and this is going to be a chance for a whole new generation to see this another time.
I really did, dude. This is like my this is like my Citizen Kane when it comes to space, man. Mars. I won't be around by the time we ever get to Mars, but I want to see this moon landing. I want to see a man on the moon, someone that I can see on Earth, like when they come back. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just want to see a guy go to the moon and come back so bad.
Yeah. Now I found the audio recording, and it appears to be 17 minutes long. We don't have to listen to the whole thing, but at least at the beginning, we're talking about space and everything. Now, Ghost, now that you're on the computer, you can right-click my stream and increase the volume because the recording of this is really low. So, Scott, I don't know how you do it on the phone. I'm not sure if you can or not, but try to increase the volume as much as you can. And,
all right.
So, we all ready?
Yep, I got it all the way up.
That we're gaining from the space station. I find this very disturbing. I'd like to find out how other people feel about it. I like the idea of looking up at night when I know where it is and knowing that we have a space station up there keeping an eye on us.
Sorry, I forgot to give some context. This is we were talking about the end of the space shuttle program. This was about a year or so before we actually ended that and all that stuff, and that was devastating to her. And it
was.
Yeah, we'll get on to explaining all the stuff I wanted to say right now. Let's just watch this here.
I like that idea. I hate to see it be gone. I hate to see us taking a number 2 spot with the space station. I hate the idea of having to beg for a ride to get up there.
Be it the Russians,
Yep.
who might have to beg themselves, or this this guy with the Spaceship One and his own private little spaceship fleet under his personal private command.
The International Space Station was a combination of so many different countries that were so involved, and now it's come down to one. They have an old fleet, just like ours was, but they seem to be preparing. We are not. No money is going into this. It's going to depend on independent millionaires that can afford to build what they need in order to get up there, and it's going to take years. Maybe I'm the only one that cares, but I'd be interested to find out.
Yeah.
I would. I'd like to find out if other people feel the way I do about it. So, I'm one of those science people.
Well, you've been following the space program since it started.
Oh yeah.
At least the U.S. one.
Yep.
So.
I remember Sputnik, and I've been following it ever since. So, just interested to find out if anybody else cares.
Well, wasn't Japan going to do something with space?
Japan is in such financial problems, and especially after what happened to their country after the
The
earthquake.
tsunami and everything.
Money is not going to go into the space race. We've gotten so far with the space station, it's just a shame to see it go.
Yeah.
I saw a picture today. Juno is headed for Jupiter. It won't arrive there until, I think, 2016. But it took a picture of Earth. It's nowhere near Jupiter right now, but it turned around and took a picture of Earth. And it's a little teeny bright dot. That's it. We're just a speck out there. We need to know more about what's going on around us.
I read somewhere, yesterday somewhere, that 1 million Earths can fit into the sun.
Don't. Yeah.
And after seeing a video several years ago about, our sun, to us is huge. But I've seen a video that makes the sun, literally, half of this one star was in frame.
Yeah.
And the sun was barely even a pixel.
Our new
Well, it wasn't even a pixel.
crawler is on Mars now. Just sent back some pictures. Our other two that were supposed to last 3 months, one of them is still moving around up there.
Yeah.
The other one is stuck in the sand. They finally shut it off. To me, it's amazing that we're getting live pictures from Mars.
Yeah.
But it never seems to make the news. You have to go hunt for it online to find out what's going on out there. I think we need to know what's going on in space.
We do. I mean, why are we so self-absorbed about ourselves on this planet? Why not, now yes, we do need to explore more about home. I mean, we only know, 3% of Earth's oceans and stuff, but we need to figure out what's going on out there, because then eventually when something does come down here, if we don't get back on our heels and start looking at stuff, things might come down from space and we wouldn't even see them because we wouldn't be having anything operational, and we'd just...
Well, there's also dangers out there.
Yeah.
Asteroids, comets.
Isn't something supposed to be, passing really close, between the moon and the Earth again,
Yes.
or something within 2025
and we
or
have
something?
another satellite out, satellite getting
Thing.
ready to sit on a
comet.
not on a comet.
Is that the propulsor one that's going to try to push it?
no
change its trajectory?
No, it's going to land on a comet. I
Uh-huh.
don't remember the name of it. I need to get my facts together.
There's so much things out there now. So.
Yeah. But we need to know what's going on out there. The more we find out there, the more I think we know about our Earth. We're just a little speck here. We need to know what's going on out there.
Oh, we're much less than a speck.
But there's nothing in the news anymore. You have to go online and hunt to find out anything that's going on.
Yeah, which is sad. Things involving science and technology and intelligence needs to be on the front page of anything, not this Kim Kardashian had sex with this, or
Yeah.
Lady Gaga humped that person, or any
There's
of that
got to
crap.
be people that are interested in science.
Well, yeah, there are,
But
but
it
they're
seems to always be the back page.
we've kind of the scientists, all the geeks and all the nerd and all the brainy people like us, not to put us on a high horse or anything, have been kind of pushed to the sidelines. It's like the world has turned into high school. Everybody's a jock, and all the nerds are being shoved in their lockers.
Well, news reporters report on what people want to hear, and if they want to hear about all the celebrities and who's sleeping with who, that's what they're going.
But it seems that even when they're reporting on all the pop culture and stuff, not one person ever said anything positive about them doing that. But it seems like all the news corporations are being run to be like that. So oh, you don't want to listen to this? Well, too damn bad. So you can say that they're reporting on what the people want to see.
Hear.
But what if they're all in cahoots and they're reporting on what they want to report on, and there's nothing else because there isn't anything else people can see. If they don't want to see pop culture news, there's nothing alternative.
Well, I predicted the media 10 years before it happened.
You really have to dig.
But there's nothing on TV, really. All the big things like Fox and CNN and CBC and whatever news channel is out there, they're always, they're pretty much now, they have different point of views and stuff, but they're all about the same stories.
They're reporting on the same thing.
They're just copy pasting each other.
Over and over and over again is the problem. Whether it's CNN, any of the news reporting, they just go over the same ground over and over and over again. It's like a big circle.
Yeah.
Surely somewhere in there they could sneak in a little tidbit of something else.
Yeah.
Something that we might learn from. What a thought. I'm done.
No, it's been running this whole time.
Has it really?
Yeah.
Now you got to edit all that mess.
No.
Oh.
I'm gonna make it into one long thing, or try to make it into a podcast.
I would really like to find out if there's other people out there that
there has to be. There's
are interested in.
There's almost 7 billion people on the face of this planet. There can't be just the two of us who care, two dinglings about science and space and stuff. I mean, the space people who are out there, they obviously care enough about space because they're doing things about it.
Oh yeah. What always excited me, and I tell everybody that listens, you can find out where the space station is at any given time, and you can see it with the naked eye. It's like a bright light. It's like a star. If you know where it is, for me to look up at the night sky and see it, I like the idea. It's kind of like a giant eye up there.
Yeah.
The thought that we were able to do that, put all this together, and all the stuff that's going on, eventually we'll get farther out in space. And this is like the first step. But I feel like I'm all by myself and caring about it.
You can keep talking.
No, I don't have any more to say.
Well, speaking of eye and the...
So I'm going to pause it right there. So I believe that's when we changed subject or something. But yeah.
Good.
Like what are your thoughts about that? This was back, I think, in 2010, 2011, so it's been a long time.
Well, I mean, I agree with a lot of it. I mean, the one thing that's very, I'm sure they've known this a long time, NASA and everybody. Space is very hostile. There's a lot of, I mean, it is, I mean, you think planet Earth is hostile. There's nothing more forgiving than outer space, and I heard her talking about like the asteroids and all that stuff. I mean, we got to figure that stuff. We got to figure that stuff out. Oh yeah.
There's a whole theory. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm really into Arthur C. Clarke, the guy that wrote 2001 and 2010 and 2069. He wrote this book, Fountains of Paradise, that's about space elevators. It's an amazing story. Which I do think, not in our lifetime again, but I do think space elevators are a reality. Therefore, no fuel. Astronauts will just get on these elevators, and they will ride them up into space, and they'll get on the different spaceships up there. And, you could even in 2069 they talk about using water as a propulsion system, because in space all you need something is it doesn't have to be fuel. You just need something to propel you, and once you're in motion, you don't stop. You stay that speed forever. That's how space works. So uh, these stories, to give you a little background, Arthur C. Clarke built the first weather satellite for NASA back in 1952, and then he became an author later. So all his work has a lot of real science base. It's wonderful stuff. You know what I mean? Stanley Kubrick made 2001
Space
back
Odyssey?
back in '68 or '69.
Sounds about
But
right.
but Arthur C. Clarke's books are so good, man. Um, just I really enjoy his ideas, because they are fiction, but they're based in what he believes could be reality. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool.
Now, see, like, the whole concept of space elevators really baffles me on a physical level because, it's not that it's a structure built from the ground up. It's more like an anchor, from a satellite in geosynchronous orbit. The problem is that how do you maintain the tautness? If you get too tight, then it might snap back and pull the satellite down. If you get too loose, you might cause a snag and be in the whatever you're launching, will like lose momentum at a bend or whatever, and then come back down and crash or something. However,
You can look.
Go ahead.
Oh, you can look into the technology. Right now, they can only get them to be about this big. It's called carbon nanofibers, and it's stronger than any metal that's ever been made on planet Earth. But right now they can only get it to be about that big. They cannot make big pieces of it. If they can ever figure out how to make big pieces of that, that's what they're going to make space elevators out of. It is literally like indestructible. It is. You can look into it. It's a very fascinating technology but like I said, they can only get it right now. That's as big as they can get it. It's like a piece that size.
Well, that's not my concern. I'm not talking about the rigidity and effectiveness of the line. I'm talking about the anchor, the point A to point B. From the platform out in space to its anchor belt on the surface of the Earth. It has to maintain a geosynchronous orbit. It has to 100% constantly be above it in physical position. Because if it goes anywhere, then now you're moving the line around. And it's not about whether or not the line can break, it's about whether or not the line is capable of handling the ride from the bottom to the top or the top to the bottom. Because if it bends too much, there's a kink, something can get stuck. Well, if something's stuck there, then how do you unstuck it?
I'm sure these brilliant people figured out. I mean, 200 years ago, people were saying we're going to go to the moon, and people laughed at them. So, and look what we're doing now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I love these kind of talks because, you never know what's possible as time goes on,
However, have you heard about have you ever heard about centrifugal launches? I don't think that's what they're actually called. Well, let's see here. Let's see if I can find it.
Is that the ones that go straight up and then angle and go straight back down?
No.
Where you? Oh.
No. Let's
That's
see
like
here.
Airspace One. I think that's Airspace One. Is the one I'm thinking of.
Spin launch. What it does is there's this you're still watching my stream, right?
Yep.
Both of you. Okay, so let's just watch
Hi, my name is
this.
David Wren. I'm the Vice President of Technology for Spin Launch, and today we're at Spaceport America in southern New Mexico at our suborbital flight test facility. Spin Launch is developing a new way to get to space. We're using electricity to accelerate vehicles up to high velocities to significantly reduce the amount of fuel, structures, and rocket systems that are required to enter orbit. Today's flight test will be flying at 1,200 miles per hour up to about 30,000 feet with our 3-meter-long flight test vehicle. We'll start by integrating the vehicle, pumping the system down, removing the atmosphere from the vacuum chamber, and then when the subsystem checks are all good, we'll accelerate the system and conduct the flight.
So on launch day, my role involves overseeing all of the systems, the engineers that run them, and the build team, as well as ensuring the safe operation of the entire system. A typical flight test first begins with attaching the projectile. Then we insert any test payloads for that day, attach the counterweight, seal off the vacuum system. Then we begin turning on all the support systems. We turn on the water systems, For cooling, we turn on the vacuum systems to begin pumping down the chamber. We start heating and enabling all of the oil systems to run the drive. Once all systems are green and we're down to vacuum pressure, then we will turn on the drive system. We will bring the tether and the projectile up to idle speed. We run a diagnostics check, and then once we get clearance for the airspace for launch, we will then accelerate up to our targeted launch velocity, enable the exit system. Once all systems go green, we then launch.
Arm release.
So essentially, and I'm not sure if they're going to elaborate on this video, but what they do is, like, in that drum you see, they spin something faster and faster and faster and faster, and then they let it go and it shoots up through that tube.
It's like a rail gun, it feels like.
More or less, but without magnetics, more like using
Yeah,
physical
you know what I mean?
propulsion.
It's just it's the vibe I got, you know?
Yeah, more or
it's
less,
really
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to watch the rest of this?
Go for it.
All right, here we go.
Arm release. Enable countdown. Enabling countdown. 10, 9,
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release.
Wow.
That's just pure energy.
We don't even see it leave the thing, you know? It's just gone.
Yeah, see, fuel is we got to get away from it. It's not going to work for space travel. We got to get away from fuel.
Yeah, because the heavier you are, the more fuel you need to go farther, and that causes more heavy, and then it's an eat its own self thing, you know.
Bottom line, money. That stuff's expensive.
Yeah.
That fuel they use is
So as you just saw,
way
we had another
expensive.
successful test flight today. It was our 7th flight on this suborbital system. We launched at 1,200 miles per hour, which is the fastest speed to date that we've operated this system here in Spaceport America. We traveled
really
up to
awesome.
about 30,000 feet.
I hope they pull this off.
And after about a minute of flight, the flight test vehicle impacted the ground, and we actually dug it up, and it's ready for reuse. We're going to continue to push the envelope and provide more behind-the-scenes flight test footage as our test flight campaigns continue.
Good for y'all, man.
Dude, that is fucking wicked. You know?
What do you think, Scott?
I don't know. I was just listening to you like elaborate on it, so I was kind of, going along with what you were saying.
What are your thoughts about the previous, the whole convo I had with my mom, the garage time thing?
Well, I almost feel like she was ahead of her time, man. Like, she kind of understood what was coming, and it's really deep stuff, like what she was interested in it, and like she was hoping people are interested in it too, and like, I feel like it's going into the future, like what her thoughts are, like going into space, like what we're going into with Artemis and stuff we've talked about a little bit. Like, I just hope we can, keep it going with her honor, like what she hoped for, and just stuff in her heart, like what she was very interested in, like.
Yeah, like it's kind of crazy, Ghost. Like how much, of my mom I see in you. You're all about space. You're so into it and everything. It's just like wow, I'm sitting here, listening to Mom, like, this is not the first time I've listened to this, but it's like, she's always like, I hope somebody else cares. I wonder if anybody else cares. And I'm just like looking at you, Ghost, like, yeah, somebody cares,
Yeah. I'm like, just look up. That's outer space. I can't believe people take that for granted. You literally, outer space is right above you. It's like, how could you not think that's awesome?
Yeah.
It's crazy to me that people don't even think about it.
Yeah. People are like, they're so fixated on their goddamn little phones and TikTok, Instagram, selfies. It's like, put down the goddamn device. It's, the reason you're addicted to it for a reason. They're trying to prevent you from looking up. They're trying to keep you dumb. They're trying to, keep you like, easily manipulatable.
Those constellations are there for a reason. That's how I feel.
You want to hear how the greatest analogy I heard for how vast space is from our perspective? Like when you're looking up at space, those stars you see, they're like the tips of a mountain range. And all that darkness is the ravines. And there's so much stuff in there that we can't see, even our telescopes. They're so deep and so vast. I mean, your mind can't even comprehend how far they are, but they're there. You're looking at them. You just can't see them. That I just love that analogy that when you look up at space from our perspective, we're just looking at the tip of a mountain range. And all that darkness, there's just so much cool stuff in there that we have no idea. I love it. I love it.
Real life render distance is not that powerful.
It's just a cool analogy. I just loved it when I first heard it. Yeah, I was like, yeah. Yeah, so every time I look up, I just...
someone else is here.
I see we have an Alice.
I was a bridesmaid, never a bride. I'm sorry, my phone died, and I just got home from walking from the lake, and so I plugged my phone in, and here I am.
Man or girl, you missed so much amazing stuff. Like, wow.
I'll say, yep.
Only always. I always miss amazing stuff.
Yeah, well, like this time was different. I had my mom's voice playing for a little bit.
Oh,
amazing! No, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just literally sat down, got my phone plugged in, and turned it on, and came right in. I was like, shit. 6:47. I'm late.
Well, Alice, since you've just joined. And we did do a Jabberwocky last weekend, so, maybe we are becoming consecutive. Knock on wood, here we go. In the past 7 days, anything interesting personally that happened to you? Anything cool that, you have to say? Anything happened in the news that you found, weird, wacky, or otherwise Alice-tistic?
Well, there is a Hurricane Danielle in the Atlantic Ocean.
Ah.
So, I mean, but it's not going to make landfall. If anything, it's going to hit Spain or England or something like that. We did, on our walk home, we saw a mother with 2 baby deer.
I like baby deer.
That's cool.
I want a pet baby deer. I want to hug it and name it George. And I want to feed it bread.
What is going on?
Baby deer into a big, strong buck.
Is that who I think that is?
Yeah, that's Tim Shitsby. When did he become Lenny?
Yeah.
Is he the one that hates pumpkins?
Yes, that's that. Yeah, that's him. That's the pumpkin hater right there.
What are you talking about?
Blasphemy.
Team Fortress 2.
Fuck you.
Hey, Butters himself.
Well, Alice, what else do you have to talk about? I have a really cool thing.
We had Hamburger Fest here yesterday in town, where we had I think 10,000 people were in our town.
Holy shit!
So, it is.
What? I want to be on it.
He wants to be on the Jabberwocky?
No.
Oh.
Apparently not.
My face out
We'll put a big smiley face on it eventually. Yeah, why not?
Huh.
Sure we will.
I still live in the area where it's taboo to put your real name and face on the internet.
Okay. Well, Alice, I have some awesome news that I kind of got reminded of. And
please tell me.
This is awesome news that for all of you, although I've already talked to Scott about this, as of today, we have done the longest show of this date in history ever on record. The first and only to hit and break and go beyond 2 hours. There's none other that's even hit 2 hours.
Oh
So,
yeah, we
a
partied.
record.
Oh, I know we did. I was there. I was in the water enjoying it.
I gotta get
And it was great. It's a good thing. I don't mind, these longer shows and everything, because there's no dead time. There's no moment where, we're not doing things. It's a constant entertainment, and I can't,
oh, shit, my phone's gonna die.
Studio, okay, Alice, you have a good one. Studios can't ask for things like that, and we just did it. We are badass, man.
Yeah, we celebrated, dude. I'm excited.
Yeah, I still have a song queued up to celebrate later.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yep. Well, why don't we get to reading this letter here?
Okay.
Unless anybody else has anything else to say.
Whatever you're ready, man.
George Carlin letter. Um, a wonderful message by George Carlin.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Get to that. Oh my gosh, I've been waiting.
Okay, so it's just like a few paragraphs I see, right?
It's about 10, and then the final part is a list of rules. That's what I wanted to read.
Okay. All right. So let's read this off. So I will start. This is a life message from George Carlin. A wonderful message by George Carlin. His wife recently died. So this was maybe involving his wife, but like this was shortly after she had passed.
I think it was literally the day or the day after. It was really, really, really early. Like his emotions were, out there.
So
apparently,
Alice.
Apparently, my phone wasn't plugged in.
All right. Well, Alice, we're going to be wrapping up the show here soon, but before we do, we're going to be reading this letter from George Carlin. I have it up on the stream here. So we're going to be popcorn reading this letter. So I'll go, and then Ghost, and then Scott, and then Alice if she can. So.
Yeah, I can.
The paradox of our time in history is that we have taller buildings but shorter tempers, wider freeways but narrower viewpoints. We spend more but have less. We buy more but enjoy less. We have bigger houses and smaller families, more conveniences but less time. We have more degrees but less sense, more knowledge but less judgment, more experts, yes, more problems, more medicine, yet less wellness.
We drink too much, smoke too much, spend too recklessly, laugh too little, drive too fast, get too angry, stay up too late, get up too tired, read too little, watch TV too much, and pray too seldom. We have multiplied our possessions but reduced our values. We talk too much, love too seldom, and hate too often.
Scott?
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah.
All right. We've learned how to make a living, but not a life. We've added years to life, not life to years. But we've been all the way to moon and back, but have trouble crossing the street to meet a new neighbor. We conquered outer space, but not inner space.
We've done larger things, but not better things. We've cleaned up the air, but polluted the soul. We've conquered the atom, but not our prejudice. We write more, but learn less. We plan more, but accomplish less. We've learned to rush, but not to wait. We've built more computers to hold more information, to produce more copies than ever, but we communicate less and less.
These are the times of fast foods and slow digestion, big men and small characters, steep profits and shallow relationships. These are the days of 2 incomes but more divorce, fancier houses and broken homes. These are the days of quick trips, disposable diapers, throwaway morality, one-night stands, overweight bodies, and pills that do everything from cheer to quiet to kill. It is a time when there is much in the showroom window and nothing in the stockroom. A time when technology can bring this letter to you, and a time when you can choose either to share this insight or just hit delete.
Remember, spend some time with your loved ones because they are not going to be around forever. Remember, say a kind word to someone who looked up to you in awe because that little person soon will grow up and leave your side.
What?
Philosophical shit right there.
Scott, your turn.
Remember to give a warm hug to the one next to you because it's the only treasure you can give with your heart and it doesn't cost a cent. Remember to say I love you to your partner and your loved ones, but most of all, mean it. A kiss and an embrace will mend hurt when it comes from deep inside. Remember to hold hands and cherish the moment, for someday that person will not be there again. Give time to love, give time to speak, and give time to share the precious thoughts of your. Wow.
Alice, read this last one here. This last.
Oh, I
sentence.
don't know. That might be too much to read. Well, I'm just kidding.
I think
Life
we
is
should
not
all
measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away.
All right, Mr. Ghost. How to stay young.
Non-essential numbers. This includes age, weight, and height. Let the doctor worry about them. This is why you pay him or her. Keep only chill for friends. Grouches pull you down. Keep learning. Learn more about the computer, crafts, gardening, whatever. Never let the brain die. And I don't mind is the devil's workshop. And the devil's name is Alzheimer's. Enjoy the simple things. Laugh often. Laugh long and loud. Laugh until you gasp for breath. The tears happen. Endure, grieve, and move on. The only person who is with us our entire life is ourselves. Be alive while you're alive. Surround yourself with what you love, whether it's family, pets, keepsakes, music, plants, hobbies, whatever. Your home is your refuge. Cherish your health. If it is good, preserve it. If it is unstable, improve it. If it is beyond what you can improve, get help. Don't take guilt trips. Take a trip to the mall, to the next country, to a foreign country, but not to where the guilt is. Tell the people you love them at every opportunity, and always remember, life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away. George Carlin.
Indubitably.
That's really good. I do have something to add to this, actually.
Go for it. That's what it's there for.
And like, yeah, I remember that there's some more things I wanted to talk about, but like maybe off camera and such. But let's see here. Actually, I have it in quotes here. So let me bring this up. So I'm gonna put this in my stream here. Press on. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education alone will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent.
Yep.
And with that,
Right
I
on.
believe we can close out the show.
Yep.
We are perfectly imperfect.
Yep.
That's right.
Anyway, for all of you and all of us, thank you for watching. We stream this show every Sunday at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, which is 6 p.m. Eastern Time.
Eastern.
I am Aoxander.
I am Scott.
I am.
Bill?
Who is that?
Oh, ladies first.
She already
Okay.
did.
Oh, I just said it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Mikey, Ghost Vibes.
Yep. And thank you for watching. And until you catch us next Sunday, or if you want to watch the history show or the new show that's starting tomorrow, I don't know the time yet though. But anyway, until later, toodles.
Be cool, stay in school, don't do drugs.